Now when I exercise, I never even think of breathing with my mouth open. Everything's through my nose, very shallow. Like I don't get so exhausted, tired as easily. And when I am exerting myself, I feel like I can quickly recover my breath and get back to like a very controlled breath. Like I never feel like I'm like losing my breath and I'm out of control and huffing and puffing.
The intermediate course I really enjoyed because of the application to the movement part of it, being able to integrate it into your everyday pattern of life.
The intermediate, run by Vladimir Sukhanosov, wonderful for integrating the practice into daily life, getting a new perspective on one's practice and really giving it a lift, getting the control pause up, getting the maximum pauses up through physical activity, getting one's breathing in sync with physical activity, learning how to improve one's strength, one's endurance, one's stamina and recovery. One doesn't expect after 40 to start feeling better and more athletic than one has done for 20 years, and that's exactly what I've been able to do.
It's like another learning curve. You absorb even more.
Solidify your knowledge of it. Make sure that you're getting it right. Vladimir, he knows exactly how it works and make sure that you were doing it correctly to get your control pause out that bit further. Most surprising thing I found was the recovery time if you do exercise dramatically improved. If you go for a long hill walk, following that is just get up and do the same thing again. You can go for a cycle or do a long day shopping or whatever it might be, but the next day you'll just feel fine again. If you want to travel, you're well able to carry in your bags. You know, you can be walking around airports trying to figure your way around. The following day, you're not completely knackered, too tired that you can't do anything. That's a huge advantage. Doesn't sound like much, but it's a huge difference if you want to go and do something. You'll have the energy to go and do it.
Now I can go to a power yoga class for an hour and not be tired, not feel achy afterwards either. I've never had that. I almost feel like I didn't even exercise. It's a totally different experience.
The only thing you have real control all the time about is your breathing. What you really have access to is your breathing. No one can breathe for you. You have to control it yourself. The intermediate training gives you an opportunity to apply what you learned in the beginner's course everywhere. You don't do it just in your room. You do it with steps. You do it while exercising. Whatever it is you're doing that is important for you to perform well or to perform better or to heal some chronic issues that you might have. The intermediate gives you more context. The principles are the same. So you learn the principles in the beginners, but then you widen your range of
practices,
yeah.
Which helps you to deepen your understanding of what the job you're actually doing. The principle is you need to increase your carbon dioxide level. Every circumstance you find yourself feeling not so good, it's about doing something that will increase your carbon dioxide level. There's different ways of doing it. You broaden your set of tools for doing that.
I was a swimmer. Real shame I didn't find Buteyko while I was a swimmer.
But if I go swimming, I can sort of swim a whole length now just without any breath, just holding my breath effortlessly. I could never have imagined doing that before I did Buteyko. I was very excited about the intermediate course because I run, and I noticed that in holding my breath, I could go much further running with less effort. It seemed to increase my stamina, and certainly with walking, because I walk a lot, I could go further with less use of energy.
The amount of soreness that you get from exercise is a lot less if you do it properly. You're not supposed to get so sore that you can barely do anything.
But have you noticed that once you really get going with the shallow breathing and the exercise, and you warm up and you warm into the walking or the whatever you're doing, you get a sense of the oxygen going into the muscles?
Right.
And
right.
Then you kind of fly. You start to just go by yourself.
Exactly.
Exercise just happens. There's no work. It's effortless.
Especially if it's mild enough. You're not going to be sprinting the whole time and be able to just maintain that. But you can maintain a pretty significant level of a hike and not feel like I'm going to go out of breath when I go up a tiny hill.
That's right, yeah.
It's going to be adjusting. Your breath is going to be just adjusting a little bit and then following back to where it should be, and it will happen fast. But it's still a conditioning. It's not like you can all of a sudden just do that. No. But once you get the right
level of oxygen in the body and you start to see it happening, you can see the difference and you feel a lot better. Because you're talking to someone like me, I never did physical exercise because I couldn't, because I get an asthma attack.
Exactly. I can only imagine if somebody's got chronic fatigue, making that person exercise will make them so much worse. You're already tired to start with. Why are we going to make you more tired?
Yeah, but then actually to do exercise and then find that you get energy while you're doing the exercise, that's a complete shift. It is extraordinary.
I was exhausted after rugby. I was a very good rugby player, and I somehow managed to get my energy on the field. And then when I came off the field, I had no energy, and I never understood why I never had any energy. But now I understand. Basically, I depleted my carbon dioxide, and I used to get the most dreadful headaches and feel awful. It's the quality of being active that's important to me. And I understand now that by breathing through the nose, the quality of the exercise that I'm bringing to myself is good. So no longer do I come back from a 2-hour cycle or a 2-hour walk and feel absolutely exhausted. I've managed that now. And as a result, I think the quality that I get from being physically active is very, very beneficial. It's very good.
I'm always aware when I'm exercising, just to remember that your breathing is important. You know, if your breathing's out of control, you're no good. Before, when I was doing exercise, the next day I'd always be absolutely knackered, and it's because of the big breathing, you know. And now I can play, like, I play 7-a-sides and I can run about perfect. I've got a bit of buzz back, you know. I've got a bit of buzz back and a bit of in here, you know. And here's, you know, that makes sense.
Yeah. Intermediate course, I wanted to see how I could put it into exercise because it's a really big part of my life. So I do go out on my bike and do my breathing. And if I do get a bit carried away, I stop and recover myself and then go again. I'm always walking and doing my breathing, which is brilliant. The benefits of that, I can come back, sit down for 5 minutes and I feel great. What I find really helpful is incorporating Buteyko practice in my exercising routine. I go to the gym sometimes. I had a training partner. Oh, you are not breathing. Breathe. I said, well, I am breathing. It's just that you can't hear me breathing. You know, you finish and you feel so refreshed. You are supposed to feel very tired, muscles aching, but come out and I feel so awesome. Your energy level goes right up. The other thing is doing the steps. When I'm out and about with the kids, I try to incorporate it into my daily life. Do anything that will help me boost my carbon dioxide levels. Intermediate course brought much more understanding, ways of incorporating Buteyko into your lifestyle.
Vladimir taught me lots of tips on how to practice, different ways to practice, and that really helped me.
We learned other exercises that helped us integrate the practice in our daily life, and I could share what I learned in the intermediate class with my girls. So they were able to do things like belly pumps and arm rolls. They were able to do over 100 steps.
It's very good that you went on to do the intermediate because then you deepen your understanding. It's how to increase your carbon dioxide level and know when you've lost it. How to increase your carbon dioxide and know when you've lost it and know that you have to do something. You know, it's an art. And when you feel bad, it's the time when you don't want to practice. And that's the time you need to practice, when you feel bad.
The intermediate class was very helpful because it helps to know that you can do the exercises throughout the day without having to set aside that 20-30 minutes of just sitting and focusing on an exercise. You can incorporate it into a walk that you take or even just completing chores around the house. It's good to see the progress that you make physically as far as being able to do exercises while you walk. I was told I have to be so careful not to get out of breath. I had to walk very slowly. I would help out at my kids' school some days, and I have to park 3 blocks away. Well, it would take me a very long time to walk those 3 blocks, keeping my mouth closed and not getting out of breath. And then to walk up 3 flights of stairs, I'd have to stop at each landing and do shallow breathing. And now I can go up those 3 flights of stairs and not get out of breath.
I really enjoyed the intermediate practice. I like to be outdoors a lot. Vladimir is an excellent teacher. He's very, very motivating. Like all the Buteyko practitioners, he's really in love with the practice, in love with what the practice can do for you. It was always changing. One type of movement that stimulated the CO2 in a particular way. I remember when I first started doing the arm rolls, and then I would feel like my chest cavity opened and I had more freedom in my shoulders and in my back. My yoga practice became much more fluid and lighter and freer. And it was very rewarding in that regard. The practitioners will give you the confidence and they will give you the support for you to push yourself beyond what your limitations are. And that's the whole point of it, because it's the limitation of the respiratory center that we're trying to move through, and the practitioners are invaluable. These practitioners, I can say, because I compared everything that exists on YouTube on Buteyko, and I can absolutely say that there isn't another group out there that has the experience that these people do.